Hey everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds, number 75. So this is where I like to collect together all the different albums that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And if we are at number 75, it does mean I have bought a lot of stuff. Yes, I do realize that, but I'm having fun with all of this and it's all good, you know. No, I'm not wearing a band shirt or an artist shirt this time. I have on my favorite donut place, Krispy Kreme, but I always thought that should be a band name, you know, some sort of thrash band called Krispy Kreme. Maybe not, I don't know, but I do like the shirt, so I'm wearing this instead of a concert shirt this time. However, before we dive into this, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, leave a comment, hit like. All those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it, and of course, by doing that, you will be able to stay up to date on all things that are going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds number 75. And we always like to kick off with new releases. There was only one that I picked up last week. It is ZZ Top Raw. Just came out on Friday, July 22nd, which happened to be my birthday. So it was a nice little gift to get in the mail because it arrived for me on release day. This is a soundtrack to the documentary which came out in 2019. So they went in to shoot some stills, maybe even do some interviews kind of stuff for the documentary. And they went to this place, the oldest dance hall or something like that, performing place in Texas. And the crew didn't understand, so they had set up all of the band's gear. When they got there, they weren't intending to play, but it was all set up, so they went ahead and performed. And then that stuff got interspersed throughout the documentary. This is that whole live performance. It's just without an audience in it. And boy, is this good. The sound on this is fantastic. I love it. It has the energy, the excitement of a live performance. You could just hear it through the instrumentation and how they're doing it, how they're singing. And I love Dusty's bass sound on this. It's really powerful up front. Some of the past live releases that ZZ Top has done, his stuff is just mixed too far in the back, but this, it is done right. It is a nice tribute to Dusty. They do say that is the last recording with him. Previously, things sounded like he may well have recorded stuff in the studio for a new album that they're working on, but this might in fact be the last thing. We'll all have to wait and see. I did want to reference this though. This is one I've already got, ZZ Top Tonight at Midnight, which is a live album, and this one came out in 2016 and is phenomenal. If you like that big loud bass up front, high energy performances, this album here caught it very well. So I sort of now feel like these two things go hand in hand. And you guys often ask me a lot of times what is some of my favorite live albums. I don't really have a favorite live album. This one here is one that I pull out and listen to as much as other ZZ Top things, but probably going to be pulling this one out now a lot too. All right, so I then picked up some, what I call catalog albums, things that have already been released and I just didn't pick up at the time. And so I picked up 3.2, and this one here is called Third Impression. It's actually the third album, and if that logo here looks familiar, it's because it is the same as 3, the project that was with Keith Emerson, Robert Barry, and Carl Palmer. Which was really just a morph of ELP into this. And so Robert Barry, sole remaining member, is now carrying on as 3.2. Although as I understand it, I believe this is the last in what he was calling a trilogy. So may not be doing it anymore after this point, but this was the third album. Very good. It's interesting. It definitely tries to replicate this here. Doesn't quite make it to that point. I did enjoy it. This here is just absolutely superior, but I mean, it's one of those albums I go back to a lot and I just really enjoy. This here was a nice little piece of filler that, you know, while I was really enjoying that, and since they only made the one album, to be able to get this and have some more. All right, and then the other thing I picked up was a Japanese import, Randy Meisner. The album is One More Song. I believe this is like 1981, if I'm not 1980, in fact. So I had been listening to, and you might have seen it in What's That You're Listening To episodes, the Randy Meisner self-titled album. And this one here was if I can find it really fast, and I can't, 82. I did. Okay. So this one, in fact, came out before, but this is a Wounded Bird reissue here, and I absolutely love this album. Another one of those ones I go back to a lot, both of these guys, and I just needed some more. So I picked up this one here. Again, didn't quite hit the mark for me, but it was great hearing him and that same style and so forth. So it really kind of filled the void that I needed at that time. Now, I do expect that those albums are going to be growing on me and so forth. So glad that I have them in the collection. It's just one of those things that's sort of that idea of warming up and playing it a few times and so forth. And next up, we're going to go through the stuff that I got from Sound Exchange. As I said, Friday was my birthday, so I hit up Sound Exchange, and this is the stuff that I had got there. So I got 8 items as part of that visit, and this turned out to be another fantastic visit. When I was coming out of there, I wasn't too sure about what I had got, and it was just sort of, you know, yeah, I want these things, but I wasn't totally like jonesing for them kind of a thing until I got home and listened to them. And I picked up these 2 albums, Force Field 2, Force Field 4. This one here, both bands are built around Cozy Powell and have other members that he's played with, like Neil Smith and so forth. But Neil Murray, not Neil Smith. Neil Murray on bass. This one here has Tony Martin of Black Sabbath singing, and this has Graham Bonnet from Rainbow singing. So both of these turned out to be excellent albums, and they're really hard to come by. Both of these I found anywhere from $50 to $90 or $100 online, and that was a hard hunt just to find that. It's not like there's a lot of those out there. Luckily, I came across a copy of Force Field 3, which Graham Bonnet is also part of. Ordered it. It's supposed to be here in the next 3 to 4 days, so I'm super excited about that. You'll see that one in the next week's New Music Finds. Picked this up after having seen it a few times. Wasn't too sure about it. Kelly Keeling, who's the lead vocalist from Baton Rouge. He's also sung for Michael Schenker Group. Yes, there's been a little bit of, legal issues or whatever, where he's potentially done some bad things or whatever. Nothing has ever really been sussed out beyond all of that. You can Google it if you want to know more. I'm not going to get into the drama of it, but I'm hoping all of that stuff is eventually worked out and he can come back, because he's a great singer. And this album here, which is on Frontiers Records, co-write with Alessandro Del Vecchio, done really well. Yes, we know he does a lot of those project-related things, but I like it. It's good melodic rock. And here's one that I had a while back. I think I mentioned didn't play right for me. I had to return it. I just never replaced it. Squack It, which is Chris Squire and Steve Hackett. Chris Squire from Yes, one of my favorite bands, and Steve Hackett from Genesis, another fantastic band. And they only made one album together, A Life Within a Day. And this one here is on Esoteric, so it's got a real release or a formal release thing. Anyway, the booklet's fantastic. It played great. I'm so glad I finally have it in the collection. And it's just one of those things that's like, you know, I always think I have everything that all the studio work, you know, by the Yes members that I like. I know I don't have everything, but by the members that I like. And then, you know, you come across something and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And that's Squack It, that's one of those there. So very cool. I've been collecting these. They're on Sanctuary, but CMC Records, Then and Now series that they did. And this one's got a bunch of live tracks in studio, and they're best of comps. They don't come with anything that you don't already have, and I've got these albums, but it does have live material that ranges from 80, 81, 82, and 83, and then it's got a bunch of tracks from then current studio album, which I think was called Boogaloo. And so pick that up, just a nice little collection. You know, sometimes I burn out albums and I need something a little different. I need it in a different sequence. Somebody asked, you know, why are you buying stuff, you know, music that you've already got? And it's in different sequenced order. Sometimes the stuff is different mixed. Sometimes they're alternating. There's all kinds of reasons. For these, there isn't anything different to it, and I get it, but sometimes I just need a different way to hear the material, and those things provide that. And when you can find them for not very much, it's nice to add in. Plus, I'm a collector, and I like to have complete collections by my favorite artists. So I found this. This one was new to me. The Jeremy Spencer Band. Jeremy Spencer was one of the original guitarists for Fleetwood Mac back in the 60s. And maybe even early 70s there, but you know, one of the early members there. and didn't do much, hasn't actually done much since then, but he did this in 1979, and this has got a real sort of R&B funk flavor mixed with rock. I mean, I did not expect it. Doesn't sound anything like Fleetwood Mac. I don't know what the other stuff by Jeremy Spencer sounds like, but when I put this on, this fit a specific niche that I've been looking for. I've got some other stuff by like Fandango, which is a Joe Lynn Turner project, and it's that funk rock mix. It's still rock, but there's got some real funky bass in the thing, and it just comes off. It's got a little bit of a disco tinge to it. If you're looking for that stuff, and I've even tried talking about, I don't know what to call that kind of music, and this here fit it. It was just perfect. And I've got like maybe, 3, 4, 5, maybe tops albums that actually fit in this little, tiny genre that I have found that I liked. It never was a huge thing, but that's one of those there. Anyway, on to the next thing, right? All right, The Dictators, Faster, Louder compilation. Best of the Dictators, 75 to 2001, 20 tracks. Again, nothing unreleased on this, but it does collect together from their studio albums. It's the first and only compilation so far that the band has. So when you don't want to listen to each successive album, but you want a nice overview, I love those sort of things. And then this, Hoodoo Gurus, Gold Watch, 20 Golden Greats, a best of, 20 tracks obviously on here. Turns out they did a new track on here, Used by Date. The first track on here was a brand new song. Then they start off with a single that wasn't on the album. They move right into all their albums, and they touch on all of them in here. So it's a really cool overview. And when this came out, when it did back in 2012, that was the latest thing. They haven't released a new studio album since then, but they've got a new one. I think it's called Chariot of the Gods. And so very cool that is going to be coming up here, and picking this up to get into it. And then from this, I'm going to be able to now pick up a brand new album by Chariots of the Gods. So hopefully that will be as good, and I'll enjoy that as much as I've enjoyed this here. But there you go. That's let's see, 11. I had 8 from the used, and I had 3 from the newer stuff that I picked up. So 11 new finds that I picked up over this past week, and hopefully you got some excitement and enjoyment out of that. I know I certainly did. I've been enjoying listening to all of this, and maybe you saw some things in here you weren't familiar with, and you can go explore yourself. But there you go. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Real quick reminder, I am having a record store meetup at Sound Exchange August 6th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. I'm going to be doing another announcement video with some more information in on it. There's going to be some surprises. There's going to be some special things happening. So I've tried to turn it now into an event. It is more than just a meetup. There's going to be some cool things happening at it. So keep an eye out for that video. I'll probably post it around Saturday, but I just want to give a reminder to everyone about that. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the first announcement in the description. So if you're like, hey, what are you talking about here? You can check that out, and hopefully you can attend if you're in the New Jersey, the Wayne, New Jersey area. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.